Oh, baby, good gravy. It's been a cheeky minute, everybody. And I just want to say that it's my birthday. So don't worry about getting me a gift or anything, material. But I'm beyond these material possessions. Actually, some cash would be nice. But, anyways, for my birthday, if you would be so kind, I'd really appreciate it if you just listen to this whole episode. Skip if it gets a little slow or boring, but I would just really appreciate your full attention and if you would listen to it and give me some feedback, let me know what you really think. If it's like too weird or out there, I'm gonna be a bit all over the place because it's my birthday and I can talk about whatever the fuck I want. And if you really like it, please share it with a friend. So we are going to get into this shit right now. Joe, I'm still working through this phase of lack and fear ruling my thoughts and decisions. I want to get to a point of having abundance and love ruling my thoughts and decisions because I know that moment will be a breakthrough for every aspect and relationship in my life. So the most important question is, how do I work through this phase of lack and fear? How do I reach that breakthrough? What are the principles behind this?
You're doing it now. Every moment that you're working, you're stressing, you're trying to find direction, you're trying to find clarity, all the mistakes that you make, all the fuck-ups, all the things that you're trying, that you succeed at and you fail at, all that's data, right? Your mind, your body, your spirit is going to go through that because you are a self-aware person. You're very mindful compared to a lot of people. And so this journey, everything that you're doing, you're internalizing, you're adjusting. You just you don't think about it, especially when you're hustling, right? When you're hustling, you're stressed and you think like, where the fuck is this going? You'll hit roadblocks. There's things that happen in your life that just don't work out the way you thought it would. There's disappointments, but all of those are telling you something, right? And you just gotta listen. You gotta have that moment of mindfulness to just stop. That's why meditation is so important, I believe, to kind of review and summarize all the things that go on during a day and a week and a month and a year, right? And that's when you really level up, because then you can tap into that inner voice. I think that's something that Sabo probably talks about and coaches about, but I've personally gone through, where when you get to a deep state of meditation, you realize all the answers are already there. They're inside of you. And it's pretty amazing. It's kind of mind-blowing because you realize that, shit, all I had to do was just be still and I could come up with these answers. It's just, we don't go through that process because we're always in action mode. We're trying to create momentum and movement, which is part of life. But a lot of times we can discount the importance and the power of just being still, right? And so I would say, like, everything that you talked about, you're doing what you need to do, because I had to go through that too. I didn't just jump to this phase of my life, right? Like, I had to go through all those things of self-doubt, of fear, of lack, not wanting, greed. I've had to make a lot of money and lose a lot of money to understand the impact that money can have and what the reality of money is, right? So it's all play. All of those things, you're just playing in these little sandboxes to figure out and discover what the truths are, for yourself at least. I think that's ultimately the principle, is trying to remain in truth in whatever you do, which means being authentic, which means being authentic to yourself, to others, and then also going back and binding everything with love. Sounds cheesy as fuck sometimes, but like for me, that's all it was. It's like everything that I do, decision or thought, was based on either fear or love. I just kept it very simple. Am I doing this out of fear or love? Why do I want to make money? Is it because I want to expand, or is it because I haven't had enough, and it's coming from lack and fear? And then I can make better decisions. Then I can adjust accordingly, and ultimately, it enhances my life in a way that's not going to destroy and deter any positive flow. into my life. These are all just tools, and this is just my way. So who knows what your way is, but you're going to find it. And that's the point. You are a God. You are the creator.
You heard it from Joe Yu, everyone. You are the creator of your own reality. You're the motherfucking God, mate. You know what time it is? It's MAIM time. Welcome to another episode of MAIM Time, a show where we talk about overcoming the identity struggle for Asian diaspora worldwide. At least that's been my tagline. And maybe overcoming isn't the right word, or that's just one way to put it. Maybe I've come to a point where I'm so fucking enlightened that now I see maybe there's nothing to overcome. And I've just accepted that I am Asian diaspora. I accept my identity as Asian diaspora as one tiny manifestation of it, one individual ray of light as part of a greater glow of the Asian cultures in the infinite mass of human consciousness, in the infinite mass of humanity and consciousness, the source where we all originate from. It only took me 31 years to get to this point. Today is my birthday. I am entering my 30s hard and arguably the second half of my life. And I'm adulting as hard as humanly possible. And in a lot of that adulting, unfortunately, I haven't made the time to talk with y'all and keep the podcast up to date and tell you about all the amazing, exciting things that have actually been going on in my life and all the crazy stuff that's going on in the world and interacting with you guys and like having interviews with other awesome guests. So I wanted to take this moment to just tell you how much I appreciate those of you who are still listening, who have been listening, and even new listeners who like over the past months, like, trickled in. I know there's still people listening. Amazing. I hope all of you guys have been having an incredible year and a great summer. And I really appreciate you taking the time to listen to this, to listen to me on my birthday episode. Let me get on my birthday podium. Me, my ego, yay. I basically reiterate the same message every birthday. I like to tell my story, my life story basically, and talk about what I've learned about identity, my journey to coming back to Korea as a Korean American with no friends, no connections, not being able to speak the language, and basically manifesting my dreams over the years. I came to Korea over 10 years ago to find myself, which sounds kind of cheesy, but it's true. I came to Korea to find myself. I literally came to Seoul to do some soul searching. Oh, folk me, mate. I mean, but in all seriousness, it has been a wonderful, wonderful adventure. And I've had some crazy ups and downs throughout my life before I came to Korea and since I've come to Korea, and I'm grateful for all of it. I'm grateful for all the good and the bad in my life, right? That's the yin and yang. That's the taeguk. That's the, you'll know it as the blue and red yin yang looking symbol on the Korean flag even. And just please continue to indulge me in this endless stream of consciousness as I spit these knowledge, truth, wisdom bombs straight off the dome. For those of you who don't know, I grew up with a really fucked up sense of my identity. Like I didn't know who I was as a kid growing up. I mean, nobody does, right? But when you're like the only Asian kid in the neighborhood and the only Korean kid at that, and like no one even knows where Korea is. This is like North Carolina in the 90s. What? People don't even know where Korea is. I don't even know where Korea is because I don't speak the language. Like I didn't grow up there. My family did when we went to America, but like I grew up speaking English as my first language, but the rest of my family spoke Korean. Couldn't even argue with my parents in Korean. This is like a central tenet. Like if you know me personally, or if you heard this podcast for any couple of episodes, like you're like, all right, Mime, we get it. We get that this is a significant pain body and central to your your challenge in life and all that stuff. But for the new listeners, I need to make this point across in case you don't know. Welcome to the show. I didn't know my own mother tongue, and And for me, I had a really hard time fitting in. Okay, I mean, again, if you're a third culture kid or like a minority, like you can probably relate. And I basically resented my Korean Asian identity. Like, oh, I wish I wasn't Asian. I wish I wasn't an Asian guy. I wish I wasn't a Korean guy with a small penis. Oh no, life is unfair. Why did God put me in this family, right? Why is only my family the one with these huge like language barrier problems? Why is it just my neighborhood, or me and my family in this neighborhood, that seems to have all these problems? Because at least all the white kids and the black kids, at least they get to argue with their parents in English. My parents don't even speak English. Like, and I don't even know who I am, right? I don't know. Again, no kid knows who they are, right? Like, they don't even care. But for me, I just felt so out of place. I felt like no one could relate. I felt so alone. I felt so depressed, and I was so resentful towards everyone. I was resentful towards my brothers and towards my parents, towards Korean culture, towards Korean identity, the idea of being Korean, Korea, the idea being Asian, being an Asian minority. And I hated myself. I hated my body. I was like chubby and like, I was like very, I was in a very dark state in my childhood. I was very depressed. I didn't have any confidence. I didn't have the confidence to like do anything besides play video games and jack off to porn and eat tons of food. Those were things I was really good at from a very young age. Great. I didn't think I was capable or smart or worthy enough to do anything in life. I never amount to anything. No one would ever love me. No one, I'm not worthy of love, right? Because I'm so fucked up. I must be defective because I'm different and I don't belong anywhere. I don't deserve to have a home because we moved around a lot too. Like, I don't even know where I belong. I don't deserve this. It must be something I did. Must be something I must have fucked up, And I can't even speak my own mother tongue. But I see a lot of other Korean kids. They seem to speak Korean with their parents. My brothers can speak Korean with our parents. So why can't I? I must be fucked up. So I don't want to get too much into like my whole like inner childhood psychology and blah blah blah. I just want to say that fast forward to. I mean, there's a lot to fast forward. Yeah, fast forward to me coming to Korea after dropping out of college because I lost my faith. I was a biblical and theological studies major. Shout out to all my Christian brothers and sisters out there, right? And especially the theologians and the pastors' kids. Like, I really wanted to be a pastor. I was a really serious Christian. I lost my faith. Okay, so sorry. Let me backtrack a bit. Okay, so when you have an identity struggle and you don't know, like you don't have a strong belief or sense in yourself, what can happen is that you cling to a religion, you cling to Jesus, you cling to some kind of external figure or like a God or something, to give you a sense of validation, to give you, peace and forgiveness and love and all the things you need, because the rest of the world doesn't understand. Like, no one understands what I'm going through, but Jesus understands. And he died on the cross for my sins. He took on the sins of humanity, blah, 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 blah. And for that kind of like love and sacrifice, like I want to, I want to also give my life up for Jesus and blah, 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 blah. Like, I was all about it until I lost my faith at Gordon College in Massachusetts, Christian liberal art school. Shout out to Gordon College. Shout out to any of my friends who I met there. I love you all. Hope you're all doing well. And this is just my journey. I'm not telling anyone to not believe Christianity or whatever. I mean, in previous episodes, like I might talk a lot of smack. Okay, please just understand I'm going through a phase. Like I do want to move past it. This is a total another discussion. It really deserves its own podcast. Anyways, well, it's called MAIM Time, so I do talk about it here. Anyways, so I lost my faith. I tried to kill myself, right? Because I lost my faith because that was that important to me. No, I think most people, they don't want to lose their faith. 99% of people, especially if you're like that hardcore, a true believer like I was, the last thing you'd want to do is lose your faith because you lose your whole worldview. You lose your meaning in life. Like, Jesus is my only meaning in life. What do I do? And then I lost it. I lost my Jesus and I lost my shit. And then I didn't know what to do. So, thankfully, my brother, he originally suggested that I go hang out with him in California. We lived far apart at the time, and he just said, like, why don't you try to figure out life here in California or whatever. Long story short, he brought me to Korea, and I'm eternally grateful. That was back in 2012 when I immigrated back to Korea. And again, it's been a wild ride. Like a coming of age story and a journey of self discovery and all that shit. And the really important part about, finding my own identity or finding a sense of meaning in my own life, reading a bunch of books on philosophy and watching videos on spirituality and culture and identity and all this stuff, right? I mean, I've consumed a lot of content. I've had a lot of time to think about it, plus my own experiences, plus endless, amazing, deep conversations with all kinds of people, leading all the way to the blossoming of this podcast, to the start of this podcast, and all the amazing, interesting conversations that I've had with wonderful people from all over the world. I've learned so much and continue to learn that I still don't know a lot of stuff. Like I definitely have a long way to go in different parts of my life. But one thing that I'm really proud to say is that I'm a lot better than I was when I was a kid. In fact, I think the mental and spiritual attitude I have now is exactly where I wanted to be from when I was a kid. Like if I could look at myself now in so many ways, I would think like, oh, that's the kind of person I would want to be in terms of like acceptance with his own identity and, being just a light and a positive influence to those around him in a great community, living a cool life, doing cool things. And just coming to a point where I'm like, you know what? I tried to learn Korean and I've tried to learn the society and the culture that my parents came from. And because of all this, because I learned the language and got to talk with my mother in, mother tongue, we now have a great relationship. I got to learn a lot about the society, about the culture. I've really just learned to become a better person, to forgive, to see things in a completely different perspective. I would argue a better perspective, coming to moments of deep forgiveness, peace, love, and gratitude, to the point where I'm proud of all that I am. I used to resent being American, resent being Korean, resent I used to hate everybody, right? Because I'm in so much pain and I'm so alone and I want other people to feel my pain. I seriously, unironically felt like that when I was a kid. And maybe there's a part of me deep inside that still does, right? And the inner hurt child that I'm still trying to heal. It's an ongoing journey. I'm still learning a lot. I still have a long way to go in so many ways. But I look back at the past 10, almost 11 years since I came to Korea, and I'm grateful for it all. To the point where I completely accept, for me, my Korean identity as well as my American identity. I am both Korean and American as much as I am. It's not like you can really measure that because there's a whole spectrum, right? But the Korean identity and the American identity, the Western cultural American values that I have, I hold dear to my heart. Like I consider myself American through and through. And I also consider myself Korean, not Korean, not a cheeky cocoa. But I love Korean people just the way that they are. Like they don't have to be me. They don't have to be Korean American, and I love American people the way that they are, and they don't have to be like, Asian or Korean. I don't know if that makes sense, but I'm just coming to a point where I want to love and accept people just the way that they are. Whereas in the past, I saw myself as the other, like, oh, I'm not like these Korean people. I mean, I'm not like culturally Western, like Korean people know that like I'm not like them. I'm clearly different. Even though I speak the language and I look Korean enough sometimes, depending on how I wear my clothes or, do my hair or whatever. Like I'll never quote unquote fit into the society, and everyone's experience is going to be different. Like I don't know, maybe you're a yuhakseng, like you're Korean but you studied abroad, or you grew up abroad. Maybe you're half Korean, half whatever. Maybe you're adoptee. Everyone's journey is going to be different. But for me, this is just what I learned. And it may not apply to you, but I just want to put this out there that this is my experience. And then maybe you can use it to compare to your own experience. And it just gives people food for thought, So yeah, now like I love who I am. I love all the part and accept the parts of me that are Korean. And I love the parts and accept the parts of me that are American. And the parts that are just uniquely me, which is interwoven and also distinct from all those things, right? My own unique life experiences, not just being Korean American, but having a different name like MAIM. Like, what kind of name is that, anyways? It means water in Hebrew, MAIM. You can look it up. It's romanized MAYIM, not MAIM. Like my parents, when we went to America, they filled out the immigration form in a certain way. Had they known that MAIM means like to dismember, to lose a limb or to remove a limb, like in combat or something, like a gruesome accident, maybe my parents wouldn't have spelled my name this way. But it's too late now. It's too late now. I got stories about my name. I used to hate my name. I used to hate myself. I'm serious. I used to hate everything. Let me just say it one more time. I used to hate my name, MAIM. Oh, why me? I don't fit anywhere. I have such a weird name. Oh, it's like, it's so unfair. Mom, why'd you give me this name? Why am I Korean? Why am I Asian? Why do I have chinky eyes and kids call me chink to go back to China, but I'm not even Chinese? So I say, hey, I'm not Chinese. I'm Korean. Fuck you. Fuck you. But what does that even mean to be Korean? Like, I'm not even proud to be Korean because I hate my Korean family, because anything that's attached with my family is like Korean. That's what makes my family different. So I hate my family and I hate myself. I hate God and the world. I hate America because for not accepting me. And I hate Korean people for also, like, I'm not Korean enough for them, right? Where do I belong? I grew up from hating everything, being so depressed and so miserable that now I see everything complete 180. I'm grateful to be all those things, be Korean, be Asian, be American, and to be MAIM, to be me. And so I like to think that the principles of this, of self-acceptance and accepting the unique different parts of who you are, can be a very powerful thing. And so for me, this has been an ongoing journey of immense healing. And I think maybe that's what we're put here. It's like maybe God put us on this earth, or Buddha or Allah or Jesus, whoever, maybe this is just a process for us all in our individual lifetimes to go through a process of forgiveness and letting go and coming to a place of love. I love myself, and I'm continuously in a process of continuing to love myself and also forgive myself for any subconscious guilt for things I did or didn't do in the past. I don't know if any of this makes sense, but me, like, giving myself a hard time and judging myself for not being this good enough, or not speaking Korean, or not being good at sports, or not being competent, forgiving myself, just trying to release the han, this Korean word for like this bitterness, right? It's like this intergenerational trauma, guilt, shame, pain, embarrassment, anger, hatred. It's like all these dark emotions like swelled into one. Like, like, I like to talk about this kind of stuff. Han, I mean, that really deserves its own episode too. Remind me, it's like, hey, Mom, why don't you make that episode about Han, and how we have the capability of resolving it and like dissolving the pain. Because I really do think we do. And I think that I've been going on the spectrum of, as time goes by, actually practically making little breakthroughs, making progress into releasing the Han, releasing the pain body, as Eckhart Tolle might say. Okay, didn't mean to digress too much into the spiritual aspect of it right away, but I mean that I also love myself as in my cultural aspect, as in, the attitude and the background that I have, like, as an American. I'm really grateful and proud and honorable, to have grown up in America, because not everyone in the world gets to do that, actually. And I'm grateful to my Korean parents for making that sacrifice to go to America, where I could grow up in America and, be a fluent native English speaker and learn all the things about American culture and learn about growing up in this Western tradition. I mean, look, it's my fucking birthday, July 4, Independence Day. I'm about like freedom and the individual. And I don't know if I've heard other people talk about this, but as an immigrant, as technically a first generation immigrant, I want to put it out there that I am humbled and grateful to be American, to have grown up American, with all its faults and all the bullshit, and with all all the sensitivity about like identity and culture these days going on. I consider it a privilege, an immense privilege, and I'm extremely grateful. I have to be grateful and humble because I didn't do anything, right? Like, I didn't do anything to, like, quote unquote, deserve. Like, my parents are the ones who made the sacrifice for us to go to America. I can talk for an hour about actually how much I love America and all the American people, white, black, yellow, purple, whatever, and its rich history, even though it's only a few hundred years old, and how it became this great, neo-Roman Empire, all the good and bad associated with it. But really, I still think a part of me does believe America's the greatest country in the world. Yeah, it's in a declining Roman Empire stage now, but I mean, I still believe that, and I love America. I love American people because I do consider myself American, and no one can actually take that away from me because of, and I just say this coming from my life experiences. Like I actually, because I wasn't born there, I actually took the citizenship test, like the naturalization process. I had to swear an oath to defend the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic, in Providence Court, Rhode Island, right before I came to Korea, like 12 years ago. I swore the oath. I was like the only dude who could speak English because I swore this oath next to like 18 Mexicans. God bless them, right? I'm pretty sure I was the only one who actually spoke English and fluently native at that. God bless them all. I mean, I could go on and on about how I think American Western tradition, culture, and civilization and all this shit is the best, right? Like I'm kind of like, I don't know, maybe I'm standing Jordan Peterson types of it. But moving on from that, going to Korea, I'm immensely proud of my Korean side as well. And I used to hate everything Korean, and anything Korean is like, it's different. Oh, I'm not like that. I don't want to be associated with Korean. I don't want to ever learn Korean. Like, I'm American, right? I went through these phases back and forth where I realized I didn't really fit into either one. So I go from hating one and going to the other, but then not feeling like I fit in either one. And so now I just figure instead of hating either, it's actually, if you think about it, like, I don't know, biologically from an evolutionary perspective, it's really detrimental. Like it doesn't make sense to be like go against your own ethnicity or culture. If you take that to its logical conclusion, then it's kind of like suicide. If you're really just hating who you are and whatever people or culture or country you come from, if you deep down inside really resent it and hate it, I think 99.9% of the time, there might be some. It's like a projection of guilt. Okay, but I'm not judging anybody. You may have, very good reasons for why you feel that way. Just like I felt that way. I hated Koreans because like my family was Korean. My family was the only Koreans in our neighborhood. So then it's like, okay, all the bad stuff about my childhood, it seems to come from the dysfunction in our family, and our family's Korean. So therefore, I'm going to kind of correlate, subconsciously associate like, the dysfunction and the pains of my upbringing and my life to my family being different because we're a minority from another country, like that kind of shit. Why hate either side? Why hate being American or Korean? Why hate either side when there's so much to be grateful for and appreciative in both rich cultures, both identities rich in their own ways? Because that is such an immense gift to the world, a unique or a different combination, a subgroup. Instead of being different or unique as a curse, it's an immense gift, right? It's all just a mental shift. It's all like about perspective and seeing things in a different way. Growing up and as an adult and learning about my family's history in the past and how hard it was for my dad and my mom growing up, like the things I didn't understand when I was a kid, and now me being an adult, trying to make ends meet and pay rent and this and that, pay the bills, and try to figure out life. I have enormous respect, love, and gratitude for my parents and the sacrifice that they put themselves through, right? All the shit that they went through so that my brothers and I could grow up in America, and with all the opportunities that it's so wonderfully afforded us. I'm so proud of my Korean parents, and I'm so humbled and grateful to be Korean because just like my family moving to America, I didn't really have a choice. I didn't do anything to deserve it. Just like I didn't really do anything to deserve being born into a Korean family, to be born Korean, or to be born into my particular family, right? If that even makes sense. I didn't do anything. So I just want to have an attitude of humility and gratitude and love. And so I had to go through all that confusion and quote unquote trauma and identity struggle, identity crisis, when I was a kid, so that it would force me to come back to Korea at the age of 20 and find myself and live in this society for over 10 years and see how Korean people live, see how they grow, see how they work, see how they play, see how they struggle, see how they sacrifice, and hear their stories, and how it's not so different from my own parents' stories and our family's stories. And so I love Korean people. I love Korea. No matter what happens, no matter what happened in my past, no matter what grievances I may have, real or imagined, whatever grievance, like it's not worth holding on to when the greater gift is to appreciate everything, appreciate Korean culture and history and the society, just as I appreciate American culture, people's society, for all things good and bad. I think Korea is one of the greatest countries in the world, if not one of the greatest in Asia. And I'm so proud of the Korean people. And I'm proud to be, a descendant from this great garden. Let me put it to you this way. As a proud American individual, blah, 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 lyrical, spiritual miracle, you know, as a proud American and being able to grow in the faraway lands of Miguk, of the beautiful lands, beautiful country. For me to come back to Korea, I see this is the garden that I come from. I was planted as a seed originally in this garden that is Korea. I come from this garden. And so if I am such a unique, special snowflake American rose, right, I can only appreciate the totality of my own self against the backdrop of the greater collective. And so in a roundabout way, coming full circle, one thing I think about myself that is very Korean, or a Korean concept that I really love, is the idea of me coming to Korea being the fulfillment of the taeguk, the yin and yang. So going back to the taegukgi, the Korean flag, you see the four symbols in the corners representing the four elements, and then the blue and red taeguk, the supreme ultimate. That's the blue and red yin yang symbol, right in the middle of the Korean flag. Right, it represents like male, female, light, dark, opposites, right, in the spectrum. And it's a never ending swirl. Korean people deep down in the collective consciousness, if you would entertain such a thing to be real or extant, I believe desire peace and harmony with oneself, harmony with family and with the tribe and with the society, harmony with nature. Because for so long, for thousands of years or whatever, Koreans been gone through a lot of shit, right? Like wars, invasions from Japan or China, the Mongols, Japanese occupation, in the modern era, the Cold Korean War. We're divided north and south, right? North Korea, South Korea. It's red and blue, right? Communist and capitalist. What? It's like the situation, the geopolitical situation of North and South Korea being juxtaposed between China and Russia and Japan and the US. It's remarkably peculiar, isn't it? It's such a weird coincidence that it's also something that, how do I say this? It's like a manifestation of the principles of the taeguk, of the yin and yang. Red and blue, light and dark, right? And we just want unity, right? That deep down, that desire for unification, for harmony, right? It's like harmony, reunification, north and south in a geopolitical, spiritual, cultural sense. And also deep inside our own hearts and minds with ourselves and with our own lives, with our families, with our communities, with the rest of the country, with the rest of the world. Like Koreans been through a lot of shit because they never had the power like Japan or China to kind of like invade other places and take over. And I'm not saying that makes Korean people better. If they were, if they were in a position of power or whatever, then they would have used it and maybe abused it and oppressed other peoples too as well. And Korean people oppress themselves and oppress each other, arguably, right? And it's just like this never-ending intergenerational cycle of abuse, trauma, and pain, right? It's just never ending. And so deep down inside, that desire for harmony, that endless swirl towards reconciliation, towards reunification, towards peace, towards oneness with the supreme ultimate, I think it's deep down there in the Korean people. And it's a symbol for all humanity, I think. I don't know, maybe this is some crazy shit, right? Maybe I'm just I'm just going off the deep end, me just trying to be a lyrical, spiritual, miracle individual, I don't know. Tell me what you think. But that's what I see my own journey as, right? That's how the one way I find meaning, right, in my own identity in being Korean is trying to find this harmony, right? Like I am the other. I'm like the American kimchi burger. I'm the kimchi burger who came to Korea, right, and trying to find the kimchi roots. And when I see Korean people, I see what I am like and what I am like not, what I'm not like. And Korean people, when they meet me and we talk and we interact, they also see the same. So when I see the other, I'm looking at myself. And the reason I'm fucking blabbering about all this shit is, I don't know. I feel like one of the most honorable, noble, magnanimous pursuits that a human can have is to seek this harmony with oneself, with one's society, with nature, with God, with the universe, with one's brother and sister, mother, father, son, daughter. And so there's this polarity or a spectrum, right, between individualism and collectivism, right? And the thing is, you can't really know one without the other. And so if I look at my own self, I'm like a Venn diagram. It's like maybe like, I don't know, blue circle is Korean and red circle is American. And then the overlap in between is me, MAIM, right? And so I really don't know what this Venn diagram looks like. Maybe I'll ask ChatGPT to formulate something, but it's like I am neither completely American, neither completely Korean, but there's a part of me that overlaps both, and at the same time I'm not even any of those three, right? And maybe I'm just, I don't know, deep down inside, I'm the consciousness, I'm the silent witnessing, observing consciousness that's piloting this meat puppet that is MAIM, playing this GTA character, this 31-year-old Korean American bum trying to be a lyrical spiritual miracle, like blabbering on his birthday on a podcast. He's 31 years old and he still has a long way to go. So I am continually refining this message, right, about reconciling East and West, Western civilization, Eastern civilization, because when we synergize these things together, we have immense possibilities. And that is especially you if you're a member of the Asian diaspora, because Asia's the shit. This is the Asian century. We're running full steam into it. And growing up in the West gives us all kinds of immense privileges and opportunities. What I'm trying to say is we are the bridge between the West and the East. Don't you see? This is an incredible opportunity for cultural arbitrage. So I don't know who you are. I don't know if you're adoptee or half Korean or maybe not even Asian at all, right? Maybe you're like a minority. Maybe you're half Mexican, half purple. I really don't know. But if this is something you can relate to, if you feel like you've ever been put at a disadvantage because of your racial background, your ethnic background, or your family, you feel like you're too different and you don't fit in, you feel like no one understands you and you're super depressed, and all you do is resort to cheap dopamine hits and doom scrolling on YouTube or TikTok or whatever. You just play video games and eat junk food and get fat and jack off to porn or whatever. You feel like you don't have anything of value to offer the world. If you feel like there's no point to your life, I'm telling you, you have immense potential. It's okay to be different. In fact, it's not just okay to be different. You have a special advantage. It's unfair. You have an unfair advantage. You just don't see it yet. I just wish someone had told me this 20 years ago. That's why I have this podcast, so you can learn from my mistakes and you can learn from my experiences, so you don't have to spend your teens like I did feeling sorry for yourself. If you want to get fit, you want to get jacked, then you can start now. If you want to get rich, if you want to make a lot of money, you want to build some cool projects, you want to start do businesses, you can start early. This is the greatest time in history to be alive. This is the best time in human history thus far to be alive, in spite of all the crazy bad shit that is going around the world, whatever. This is really the best time because our ancestors just didn't have these opportunities that we do now. So no matter how bad the situation is, we have so much better opportunities than the people who came before us. And it would be a shame to not appreciate that. It would be a shame to miss these opportunities and waste our lives away for not doing the things we truly want, to get the things we want out of our own lives, our own lives, you know? Don't you get it, guys? We can all become lyrical, spiritual, miracle individuals. Flipping the trip. I don't know if anyone gets the Filthy Frank reference, but that shit is hilarious. I'm serious. We are the future. You are the future. And we can manifest, we can embody the best values and ideas and spirits of both West and East. That is right. We can bring great honor to both the Eastern and Western culture and the civilizations. It is our duty. And while I like the word duty, some of you might get the ideas like, well, you know, hey, man, I'm an individual. I'm a unique, lyrical, spiritual, miracle individual, flipping and tripping. So, like, don't put me in a box, man. Like, I'm my own person. Look, I fucking get it, okay? Like, I've felt that way very strongly my whole life. And you know what? I still do, so that I take it to its logical conclusion, being that I want to maximize all possible benefit for myself. And how do I do that? Well, from my perspective, it's to accept, understand, and appreciate the totality of who I am as an individual. But I can't do that unless I observe the collective and want to give back to the collective. So this is not an obligatory duty from the shackles of culture. I choose not to look at it like that anymore. I may have believed that in the past, but that's not how I want to think about it anymore. I choose to submit to the duty. The duty. I choose to want to honor the collective. I want to give back to the society. I want to give back to Korea. I want to help bring healing to the nation of Korea and America. Guys, I'm giving you the fucking sauce here. W in the chat. I'm preaching the fucking gospel. You are the future. You can change the world. And everything that you might resent about yourself for being different or about how life is unfair, that's exactly what the world needs. The world needs your unique gift. The world needs you to start or continue your own journey of self-development, of self-actualization, and cheesily becoming the best version of yourself, right? So you can become as strong and as rich and famous and powerful and influential and as creative as you can possibly be. Meet tons of people from all over the world, fly, do cool shit, build big businesses, make big moves. And then learning to love yourself, learning to love your neighbor, your family, your tribe, your country, learning to love the world and bring healing to the fucking nations, performing fucking miracles, raising the dead, healing the sick, making the blind see, making the lame walk, deploying capital and cutting-edge AI tools to take 5 loaves of bread and multiply them to feed tens of thousands, to build schools in some rural part of Vietnam, teaching kids how to use AI tools so they can get rich and take care of their families, while teaching them to be kind and generous to each other, to other people, to the world. You are the future of Asia, and this is the Asian century, so you are the future of the world for humanity. Think about all the good you could do. Think about how much you could help other people. Think about how you could flex on all your homies when you make it big or whatever too, right? I mean, the totality of who you are as an individual, like we got egos too. We want to flex. We want all the material goods too. I do at least. And I'm not talking about just changing the world and doing big businesses and building big bridges, literal and cultural, metaphysical bridges, like deploying, billions of dollars to build a bridge over the ocean to connect some islands in Asia, right? But also between countries, between companies, between individuals. And also at home, I'm talking about miracles where your dad or your mom or your estranged brother, you haven't talked to them for years and it's awkward, or you had a really bad fight. There's a lot of guilt and shame and anger and hatred from either side. And one day, all grievances past, imaginary or real, are forgiven. And it's like nothing ever happened. Families coming together and saying, I'm sorry, please forgive me. And then there's nothing to forgive. I love you. I'm talking a grown man who never told his father, I love you, picking up the phone one day and saying, Dad, thank you for all that you've done for our family. I love you. And his dad hanging up the phone, losing it, just fucking bawling. I'm talking fucking miracles. My life is a miracle. I could just as well not be here. I could have taken my own life 11 years ago before I came to Korea. But then I would have missed out on all this. And in spite of all my shortcomings, all my failures, all my mistakes, all my character flaws, more importantly, my pride and my ego, all the things that hold me back. In spite of all these things, I am my father's son, and his blood courses through my veins, just like the blood of my ancestors courses through my veins. And I channel the spirits of my ancient ancestors who are dead, but speak through me now. I am their pride and joy, and they watch over me every day. So you are the culmination of your ancient ancestors' hopes and dreams. Everything they struggled for, everything they suffered, everything they sacrificed, it was so you could be here. So let's not waste this opportunity, because we are the future. You are the future. You are the 21st century Renaissance. You are the economic, cultural, and spiritual revolution. And all you have to do is awaken to who you are. All you have to do is know who you are. It won't be easy. Experiencing challenges, hardship, struggle is part of the journey. It must be, so that you can overcome it and become stronger and become a better human being in every regard. I dare say it's our duty and our privilege to become the best fucking human beings we can possibly be and live the best, most meaningful lives we possibly can. And do great, ambitious, wonderful things for the good of others. You are beautiful. You are strong. You are capable. You are competent. You are wonderful. You are worthy. You are worthy. You are worthy of love. When times are tough, your ancestors are watching over you. And when you think you just can't take it anymore, don't give up. Never, ever, ever fucking give up. Because if you look deeper inside, you'll see that there's immense strength, self-reliance, and support from your ancestors. They're cheering you on. They're proud of you. They're saying, I love you. They're like fucking Star Wars blue ghosts like Obi-Wan Kenobi and Yoda, guiding you and watching over you in your darkest hour. I know, because when I'm going through a fucking tough time, I can see King Sejong the Great, Sejong Daewang, and Ralph Waldo Emerson, and my father putting their blue ghost hands on my shoulders, saying, hey, Mime, we love what you're doing. We're so proud of you. You are worthy of love. We love you. We are rooting for you. The magnanimity of King Sejong the Great, the righteousness of Ralph Waldo Emerson, and the love of my father, who literally worked himself to death to the very end for his family. So it's my 31st birthday. I still ask myself, who am I? And on another note, I mean, who really cares? On the level of form, right now at this current life situation, I could say, yeah, I'm Korean American. I'm Korean and American. I'm neither and both paradoxically. 31-year-old male with a podcast that still has trouble getting his shit together. I tell you what, fam, I fuck up plenty of times. I have fucked up and continue to fuck up and make mistakes plenty of times. And I fall flat on my face and I get hit, especially in karate. You know, I've been going to karate once, twice a week. I get hit a lot, guys. I'm not going to lie. And it sucks. But I keep coming back. And I might fall flat on my face, but I always get back up. And I'm never going to give up because it's not like I have a choice. I must always do my best to take positive action to become better in every given situation. And if I can do it, then you can do it too. Some of you may have heard me say this shit before, but let's do a cheeky, cheesy visualization exercise. Close your eyes. Not if you're driving or operating heavy machinery or something like that, but if you can, close your eyes and imagine yourself on a beautiful, sunny, tropical paradise somewhere in an undisclosed location in Southeast Asia. Doesn't have to be undisclosed, right? It just sounds cooler and mysterious if it does, if you say it like that. But yeah, some Southeast Asian tropical paradise, and imagine we're on a beach and there's like 100 of us. I don't know, maybe like 1,000 of us. Maybe it's a big island. Okay, maybe let's just stick for 100 of us. It's summer, July 4, 2025. So 2 years from now. And imagine that we're all there to celebrate my birthday and to just get lit and have the time of our lives. And the sun is setting and the speakers are booming and there's just great music, great vibes, and we're just having the time of our lives, just networking, connecting, learning, growing. And then as the sun sets, you know, we're all like got our little fruity cocktails with a little umbrella drink, and the horizon's this glorious purple orange haze. And I get the microphone, right, for MAIM Time 2025. And there's a stage on this beach with the speaker set up. And I run out on stage and I see all you, my friends, my brothers and sisters, people who've been on their own journeys and overcame immense struggles just to get to that island, just to get to that location, just to have an opportunity for us all to spend time together. And maybe I've positively influenced your life in some way. And it's one of the most amazing gatherings of incredible human beings in one place on an island ever. And I start saying stupid memes into the microphone and I go, oh, and then the whole audience, you included, go, oh yeah. And I do that multiple times. I pick up the microphone to my mouth. I go, oh, and then y'all go, oh yeah. I say, fuck me. You say, mate. Fuck me, mate. Fuck me, mate. And I say, who needs it? And then y'all say, she needs it. And then I say, how does she need it? And y'all say, hard. Fuck me, mate. Fuck me, mate. And we're all just, man, fucking laughing our asses off. And then I basically just give this same speech. I just give the 2025 version of it or whatever. And it's fucking incredible. And we're all just so grateful and humbled and honored to be together. It's one of the most amazing, happiest moments of our lives because we earned every step of the way to get there. And we're just absolutely filled, overflowing with love and gratitude. People are fucking crying. People's lives are being changed even more than they already have been. People's hearts and minds are opening up in ways they never thought possible. And at the end of it all, at the end of this amazing birthday 2025 MAIM Time speech, life-changing, life milestone event that you'll remember for the rest of your life, I yell into the mic, who are we? And I point the mic out to the crowd, to you all, and you yell at the top of your lungs, We're motherfucking gods, mate! Oh, we're motherfucking gods, mate. The crowd goes absolutely fucking wild. Oh, we're motherfucking gods, mate. Oh, yeah. Oh, baby, good gravy. And then we all cheers our delicious fruity cocktails with a little umbrella drink, which is like a Mai Tai, but it's called a MAIM Time. Get it? Anyways, yeah, we all cheers, down our drinks, and then I yeet the microphone into the ocean. And where it splashes and sinks into the ocean, emerges a giant fucking AI robot cyborg dragon that's breathing fire and shooting fireworks everywhere, and then the like big lights going on, and the sun's gone down, and then we just party all night, celebrating, partying literally into the sunset, into the rest of our lives, celebrating our lifelong dedication and fulfillment for the greatest truth, for the greatest good, for the greatest glory, for the greatest love. And I can't wait for this day to come, and I can't wait to meet you. Because when I look back at my life and all the shit that I went through since I was born, since I was a kid, and coming to Korea, and then starting this goofy ass podcast where I say stupid memes all the time, talk about identity and culture and being the best version of yourself, all this shit, and broadcast my heart, mind, and soul into the ether in the hopes of finding life, searching for motherfucking gods like me, mate. I've had to go through all that and am and will continue to do so much just to meet you. Don't you see? I've been waiting my whole fucking life just to meet you, because I love you more than 1,000 podcast episodes could ever express. And never forget that your ancestors love you even more, and that they're always watching over you, they're always guiding you, and they're always protecting you, and they believe in you. And you have whatever it takes within to fulfill your wildest dreams. Now, open your eyes and wake up. And that is all the time we have today for this very special birthday episode of MAIM Time. Thank you so much for listening. I love you so much. Please leave a 5-star rating on Apple or Spotify or the platform of your choice, and subscribe if you haven't already. And share it with a friend, because you never know how hard it will hit. And I'll talk to you next time. MAIM Time! What the fuck? Mine, did you just try to hypnotize us on your podcast? Man, that shit is whack. I ain't never listened to this shit again. Fuck that. Unsubscribe. Yeah. MAIM Time? More like ain't nobody got time for that shit. Oh, yeah. Fuck me, mate.